Chapter 7. Religion. Selling the cure for the fear it sold you. Of all the receipts Isfet has written, none is more brazen than the one signed at the altar. The transaction is elegant in its evil. Manufacture a fear of eternal damnation, then sell the only cure. Charge weekly, pass the basket, build a tower, hire lawyers, buy the senator, repeat. This is not an attack on the divine. The divine is the only thing this book is for. This is an attack on the franchise that has spent 2,000 years standing between you and the divine, taking a cut. Notice the pattern, because Isfet always leaves the same fingerprint. A genuine spiritual transmission arises. Yeshua, the Buddha, the prophets of every people. And that transmission is, without exception, a transmission of Ma'at. Love your neighbor, feed the hungry, forgive the debt, lift the fallen, do not lie, do not steal, do not lord over one another. Within a few generations, an institution forms around the transmission. Within a few more, the institution monetizes it. Within a few more, the institution is doing the precise opposite of the transmission, accumulating wealth while the hungry rot, blessing the empire while it crucifies the next prophet, burning the witch who remembers what the founder actually said. The Kemetic ancestors saw this clearly enough to encode the warning into our tradition. The Neteru, Ausar, Auset, Heru, Tehudi, Nut, Ma'at herself, were never gods in the European sense. They were forces of nature, observable principles of the cosmos, mirrors by which a human being measured himself against the universe. There was no salvation to purchase. There was only weighing. At the end of life, your heart was placed on a scale opposite the feather of Ma'at, and what mattered was not what you believed, but what you had done. The transmission was self-enforcing. There was nothing for an institution to sell, so the institution had to invent one. It invented original sin so it could sell baptism. It invented hell so it could sell heaven. It invented the priest as gatekeeper so it could sell the sacrament. It invented the heretic so it could sell the witch hunt. Every product on the shelf of organized religion is the cure for a wound it inflicted on you in childhood. A faith that requires you to fear the divine in order to fund the institution is not a faith. It is a protection racket with stained glass. The black diaspora knows this receipt better than any people on earth. The same book used to justify the chains was the book pressed into our hands on the plantation. The same hymns sung by the master were taught to the slave. The same heaven promised to the oppressed was conveniently described as a place far enough away that no one had to deliver it on earth. The theology of patience was a labor management tool. The theology of meekness was a colonial pacification program. None of this means the people in those pews were not feeling something real. They were. They often were. And the spirit moved despite the franchise. But the franchise was and is Isfet in a robe. Ma'at faith does not require you to leave the divine. It requires you to leave the middleman. Sit on the earth. Look at the sky. Speak to your ancestors. Read the texts your grandparents were told to forget. Weigh your heart daily against the feather. Tithe to the living, not the institution. Build a temple in your chest that no senator can subpoena and no scandal can collapse. That temple is older than every cathedral